The Angry Chicken is a production of amove.tv. Check out Amove TV for more podcasts covering Blizzard games. And for more of Jocelyn's gaming podcasts, visit josplays.com. The Angry Chicken is brought to you by our legendary patrons over at patreon.com/TAC.
Time's up. Let's do this. You face Jaraxxus. You smell like a leper gnome. I knew it. So hot. A podcast about Hearthstone and Battlegrounds. This is The Angry Chicken.
Greetings. Welcome back. Hello. 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 Happy holidays. I'm Garrett. She's Joce. This is probably not the last episode of the year. Maybe. We'll see how next week
really
goes.
Know.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. But yeah, everybody, it's the big holiday week for most folks. Joce and I both have things and celebrations to enjoy. So this episode's coming at you a little early, and it's going to be something a little bit different, Joce. Today we're doing our Q and Holid-A. Get it? Emphasis on the A.
Yeah, I think they got it. But
if I could put it in,
always funnier when you explain them.
Yeah, I mean, if I could put it in Canadian for you, emphasis on the A.
Yeah, but that would be A like EH, not A like answers.
All we care about is phonetics. It's an audio show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
just
all that
making
matters.
sure that you know how to spell our national word. It's very important.
Nice. Yeah, today's gonna be a big Q&A episode. We're gonna catch up on email questions we haven't taken, Discord questions. We're gonna take some time and take questions from the chat. We've already gotten one from Celestion, but he's getting moved to the bottom of the queue because we have genres for our questions, Joce. We're gonna start off with questions pertaining to the year in Hearthstone in review, looking back on 2020 as a whole. And then we have a section for the future of Hearthstone, looking forward, kind of like hopes and dreams for 2020. And then we're going to end on personal questions.
You mean hopes and dreams for 2021?
Whatever.
2020's gone.
I hope it is.
That. It's over.
It's been going so long, it feels like there's no end in sight.
Right.
And then we're going to end with personal questions and off-topic questions. So there it is. And then we'll try and weave in, chat room questions as we can see fit from our lovely fine folks watching us live at twitch.tv/amovetv. So, but before we do that, Jocelyn, we need to do a big fat thank you to our patrons because they've been supporting us all year. And this is the time where if we're going to lose a lot of patrons, it's now. So if you're still there supporting us, we really appreciate it because this is the time either most people are like, I'm going to pause for a bit or maybe possibly never come back. So if you are still here, thank you so much for supporting us. And if you like the show and you want to support us, patreon.com/TAC is the best way to do so. We have a new patron, Jocelyn, and this lovely individual's name just seems so familiar. I was hoping you could help me place this, but I noticed a notification for a new patron to the Angry Chicken. Hearthstone is now an Angry Chicken patron.
Legendary.
Yes, oh wow, I couldn't have asked for a better reaction. Yeah, I love
Hearthstone so much.
Yep, we're just so this year. I believe we got all of our TAC friends to give us money for some reason. I don't know why, but we got Jonathan Vigil, Ridiculous Hat, Slissa, and now Hearthstone to become patrons. And to all of you, I say you don't need to do that. If you really want to join our Discord, we will give you VIP access. But thank you for the support. We really appreciate it. So, oh God, now that means they are all our bosses. They can tell us what to do.
Yeah, they can tell us what to do, which is kind of scary, I'll be honest.
That's real. Oh, I hadn't thought about that until now. I hope Ridiculous Hat hasn't realized this, seeing as he also does like 7 other Hearthstone podcasts. As one of our bosses, he could manipulate that relationship. He would never do that.
No,
He would never go
nice.
mad with power. Would he? Would
yes,
he?
He would.
But then we'd have to call him Mad Hatter, and there's all sorts of legal ramifications behind that. So I choose to believe. But thank you for the support, everybody. Check it out, patreon.com/TSC, for access to the Discord, ad-free versions of the feed, so on and so forth, all kinds of perks for you. But let's get to everyone's questions, Jocelyn, starting with questions kind of pertaining to looking back at 2020 Hearthstone as a whole. We are not going to be looking at 2020 as a whole because I'm done. I don't want to think about it anymore.
It's gross.
But it's been quite the year in Hearthstone. We've had some ridiculously high highs and some quite low and well-documented lows. But kicking us off is Pi, Rational Pi, multi-time taco champion, longtime patron, and dude I once ate at a steakhouse with in Pennsylvania. It's a true story. But Pi says, question for the mailbag show. How did you feel about RNG in competitive Hearthstone throughout the year of the Phoenix? There's been a lot of talk this year, especially about card generation, taking the skills of hand reading and matchup prep out of the game. And Darkmoon Faire even brought a new Yogg-Saron game ender to standard. But it seemed like the championships were very light on RNG, with no old gods in sight. Do you think the community was upset over nothing, or have nerfs to cards like Evocation really brought some skill back into the game? May Yogg's countless mouths smile upon you. The thought of all those mouths smiling is terrifying, on top of the fact that their teeth are not nice-looking teeth at all. Pi, I think this is the most polite way you could say, hey, Garrett, how do you feel about losing your shit over the new Yogg-Saron and it not mattering at all?
Well, it didn't matter at all in the World Championship. Like, I've still seen a little bit of it on ladder, but we talked a little bit about this in the past few weeks. Is just that like the game itself is too fast and aggressive right now to see for a lot of these cards to see play. And I think that a lot of the World Championship decks wanted to be as like consistent and like not looking for those high and low rolls as possible, because the World Championship was very short. There's only like, it's 2 losses and you're out in the first day, and then 1 and you're out in the second. Like you're not looking to high and low roll in that sort of a situation. You want consistency. And so yeah, you're not going to bring Yogg even as a, oh my God, what am I going to do now? I've got nothing left, just because you don't want to be in those situations in such a high stakes tournament. So I think that the nerfs that they did to Evocation, I think Mage was probably the largest issue when it came to RNG, because you would play against a Mage, although Priest is also a really, really bad offender in this area as well. But like, you play against these classes, and before Evocation was nerfed, it was just like you could get evocations off of evocations. Like it was gross, and it made it very, very difficult to know what your opponent was going to do. And I think it was very much an issue earlier on in the year, but I think they kind of brought it in line with some of the changes that they made. And then, like I said, the game is, first of all, World Championships want to be consistent, but on ladder, it's way too aggressive to kind of like see any of the current RNG cards or the crazy big just swing turns. Like all that kind of stuff usually happens so much later in the game, and we're just not getting there on ladder right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and I don't mean this to sound like a defense of any time I've made a call on a card and ended up being wrong, but like at the end of the day, like Hearthstone, it's just so hard to call sometimes the impact of cards. Like if they're going to see standard play, if they're going to see tournament play, and if they see play in either, if they end up having the impact we think they're going to have. And so, cards like Yogg and whatnot, or at least they are seeing standard play, but not to such a popular level that it has really registered, I think, in the kind of popular school of thought. Certainly not for me, and I feel like I'm one of the more sensitive people to cards like Yogg. So, I don't know. It's just so freaking hard to tell sometimes. And there's no substitute for how many games are played within like the first 24 hours of an expansion launching. There really isn't. And anyone who's played at an event like BlizzCon, like pocket metas are a thing. Like, and also like, you know, even, you know, private events like the summit for Ashes that I got to go to, like pocket metas occur and you can leave with completely wrong information. I thought Pure Paladin was going to be insane and it ended up being insane, but not for 2 expansions. It took a whole nother expansion.
Not when you thought it was going to be. Yeah.
To put Pure Paladin on the map. So, you know, there is all of that to kind of take with it. And so that's kind of my thought. I think overall, I think we've had kind of both. I think you hit the nail right on the head, Pi. I think the start of the year was pretty rough. And, you know, I think Joce, you and I both kind of got to a point where we were kind of throwing our hands up being like, oh my God, I guess this is just Hearthstone esports now. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and then Yogg got revealed and I think I was even gone for that.
And you
one.
were done. You were just done. Yeah, no, it was Hat and I that did the Yogg reveal.
And I remember listening to that one and Hat was even like pretty strong on it, saying you're kind of sending a message to competitive Hearthstone by making a card like
by printing this card.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, you asked me on my thoughts on the following episode, and I was like, yeah, you know, we got duels now. Why are we even putting these cards in standard? Do we have to? Can we not? Can we just relegate them to duels, please? For the love of God, please. But it didn't matter. It ended up not being really a factor. So I think Pi's right here. So I think, you know, start kind of first half of the year, it was too much. And I think back half of the year, I like where we landed.
Yeah, it felt pretty decent in RNG terms, I think, at the end of the year. The meta is still not my favorite, but I'm never going to love a super aggro meta. So, again, that's more personal preference than healthy for the game. I think more so in terms of game health, I think the fact that it feels very rock, paper, scissors right now is probably not the greatest, but we do also have the mini expansion coming probably in January, maybe February. I'm not 100% sure. The expansion launched so much earlier than normal, right? So I'm not really sure timing wise what they're aiming for and what changes may come to the timeline with BlizzCon being in February. So I don't know. We'll have to see how everything plays out, but I think we're coming to the end of this meta within the next month or so.
Yeah. So I know you mostly ask questions, Pi, but I agree with your assessment. Who's our next question from?
Rakamar writes in and says, how does Arena fit into Hearthstone nowadays? I feel like the few Arena streamers I used to follow are all playing Battlegrounds right now. And with the promised new play mode coming in the next set, Arena is probably going to get pushed further into obscurity. What to do? So I obviously we don't have access to Blizzard's numbers, but Arena was not the most popular of all of their modes. From what I remember devs saying, like way back years ago now, when we basically had Standard, Wild, Tavern Brawl, and Arena, even comparing it to Wild, Arena was the least popular format in terms of just like raw player numbers. I can't imagine. I know they've been making a lot of updates to Arena over the past couple of years, but I can't imagine the numbers have grown at all, because I've definitely noticed the same trend that you've noticed. Not only from Arena players, there's a lot of constructed players who have gone over to Battlegrounds as well. But I think that Arena only streamers never really got all that popular, with a couple of exceptions. And the swap over to Battlegrounds was, I don't know if it was done. Obviously, every streamer is probably different. But Battlegrounds is like the most popular thing on Twitch in the Hearthstone category. So I would not blame them making the switch for a mode that is much more often supported. Like, you're getting changes to Battlegrounds way more often than you're getting changes to Arena. And that's where the viewers are, right? So if you're a content creator, then it absolutely makes sense to go where the viewers are.
Yeah. And I would imagine some of them also were just really into it. Like there's probably
that's what I say. Like I don't know which is personal preference and which ones like the game mode more or whatever. But just like outside looking in, that would definitely be a decision that I would make as someone playing Hearthstone. Be like, well, I still want to play Hearthstone, but they're not really supporting my format as much as they're supporting the new modes that they're putting in the game right now. So why don't I just switch to one of those new modes that gets updates all the time?
Yeah, I don't mean this as any sort of put down. Lord knows I do a show about it, but I think of Arena as the Heroes of the Storm of Hearthstone. I think it's the smallest audience, but I think it's a really, really like zeroed
passionate
in
group.
Yeah, super passionate, niche audience of the Hearthstone player base. Is kind of where I've relegated it in my head, and if you listen to the show with any regularity, you know that I'm just not into it. At the end of the day,
Epilardus in the chat room has a really good point that the helper programs maybe hurt Arena by telling you what to pick, just because it makes it a little bit more samey in a mode that's supposed to be crazy. So, I mean, if you're like they said they like Arena early on when you had to do the best you could with unusual and unplaced cards. I feel like I can definitely see that, because as somebody who never played Arena, I could go in and get a half decent Arena deck using a helper program, having no idea what I was doing, but just be like, oh, this is, and especially when they got sophisticated enough to not just be a straight up tier list, but to be like, oh, hey, you've got these other things in your Arena deck. Here's what you're missing. We recommend this. Like, here's the weighted average based on what else is in your deck. Like, that level of automation of the deck picking phase, which is very important to Arena, I think it probably did hurt the mode.
I don't agree at all.
Okay.
I think all it does is significantly expedite something that's possible anyway. There's no way to, I don't know, like.
Well, but if half the skill of Arena is picking your deck and then the other half is piloting it, you're basically taking half the skill out of Arena because you've got a bot that's choosing your deck for you.
Yeah, it's just I guess, like, I just look at it like we live in the real world where this information will be cross-referenced, examined, talked about, and documented in some fashion. Like, there's literally no way to stop it because of the fact that it's an asynchronous limited format. So in a certain, like, I think if you believe that's an issue, I think the format as a whole is flawed then. Like, I think
fair enough, which, yeah, I think it probably is. I think because the way I understand drafts in other card games, which I have not played, just putting that big caveat on everything I'm about to say here, but
I wouldn't even call Arena a draft is the first asterisk I would put on that statement.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, the way I understand how they work is like, I get a group of cards, I choose one, and then I like pass the group of cards to the person on my left.
Yes, that is a draft.
And get a group of cards from the person on my right. So, yeah. And then we all play against each other in the same group, right? Like, I don't then take my deck, stand up and go to another table. Like,
exactly. It's been years since we've talked about this and compared it to other card games.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you're describing is a Magic draft. And that's more analogous to at least how the drafting system in Battlegrounds works, because it's a limited pool. Yes. And much the same way you can see trends in what you're not finding when you're drafting in Battlegrounds, you can see the same trend in a Magic draft. You're going, really not finding a lot of blue cards. I guess someone at this table is drafting a lot of blue. You can start to infer things.
Right.
That's not happening with Arena. Arena, you're drafting against yourself, like, and no one else is impacting the cards that you're drafting from. That's closer to a format like Sealed in Magic. Although it does the thing I've been asking for forever in Arena, which is you get to look at all of the cards all at once and then build a deck. You don't choose one out of three. Oh,
you don't go one at a time. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just crack a bunch of random blind
get like
packs.
90 cards and then.
Yeah. I don't know how many off the top of my head. It's been a while since I
just literally did 30 card deck, 3 choices per slot, 90 cards.
There you go.
Super simple math.
Which is how Arena could work. I don't believe it's 1-to-1 with Sealed and Magic. Magic is typically a 40 card deck and you have lands and all that jazz to deal with. But yeah, that's I was, when I was playing Magic the most I played was sealed. I really freaking enjoyed it. And that's how I've always wished Arena would work, but it doesn't. But it's neither here nor there. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to beat up on Arena too much. I feel like I already do. Like Arena is what Arena is, and you either like it or you don't. And to me, it's just not for me. So yeah, I guess like I'm not trying to come at you, Josh, or come at where was it in chat room? Epilardus. In that I say I like completely disagree. I guess I just see like, I think if your issue is with like the information that's out there, I think at a certain point you're almost looking at a symptom and not like the underlying cause,
Fair enough.
Which is like just the way Arena is designed as a game that can be played asynchronously. Like if we all went into Arena, if it was a timed thing, like if you just had to go in and you get locked into a lobby with the same people, even that would have a certain impact on it. But you know, from day one, you could pause in between picks. There's nothing stopping you from going to a Discord, making a phone call, going to a forum, a website, Reddit, anything, from going and finding more information.
Yeah, because you have basically infinite time.
Yeah.
It's just more that like, yeah, it's the evolving over time. It's like, it's different than just looking up a tier list or something. It just puts everything right in your hands. But you're right, like that information, because there's no time limit, is absolutely somewhere. Just how much effort do you want to put in to find it? That's definitely fair enough.
God, now I just want to play Magic. Oh my God.
I was going to say, like, all of the stuff that we've been talking about sounds really super interesting in terms of a format of like building a deck and like passing cards around, kind of like Battlegrounds, kind of like Magic Drafts. Like that sounds really interesting. I think there's a lot of stuff, even sealed, that we talked about, you know, like all of this stuff sounds really interesting in Hearthstone. I just don't think we're ever going to see anything like that, because like we heard with the tournament mode conversations, is that the devs are really not big fans of saying, hey, you have to put 3 hours aside to play Hearthstone, like, and you can't leave. Like they're very much like get in, get out, like your arena run saves between sessions, you know, like you're not stuck playing against this group of people and screwed if somebody leaves. Like, yeah. So it's kind of against their vision. I was gonna say design philosophy, but I think their vision of who plays Hearthstone and how. And so as much as I think they're really interesting, I think there's a difference between people who are like, hey, I'm going to set my entire weekend aside and I'm going to go play in a Magic tournament, and I'm going to go physically to a place and swap cards with people and whatever, which obviously we don't do anymore anyway, but that was a thing that happened in the way long ago.
Yeah.
I don't think that I don't think that they're going to build a mode that's going to require a Hearthstone player to sit at their computer or at their tablet or phone or whatever for hours at a time without the option to like pause and leave and come back.
I think that's playing a big role. There's ways you could still, like, I think seeing all 90 cards and drafting a deck, you don't need to make that a thing. You just have to sit down and play all at once. But clearly, like, my belief is they have kind of moved on from making any major changes to Arena. That Arena is just kind of on auto support,
maintenance mode.
Yeah, maintenance. Like, yeah. Like, I don't think they're ever gonna like turn it off or let it become a broken part of the game. But I also don't think that we're ever gonna see what I would consider an exciting change to the mode.
Yeah, I think we're just going to keep seeing those like changes to what sets are available, some balancing in buckets if needed, like just the little maintenance things. But yeah, which then again, and to get back to Rakamar's question, that's why I don't blame Arena streamers if they did switch over to Battlegrounds, because Battlegrounds is being iterated on. It's still technically in beta, I think, right?
Yeah, I think we can move off that, but I don't know. Maybe they would be less inclined to try big shakeups like the spells every 4 turns if it didn't say beta. And so I don't know, man, whatever you got to do. I've been overall happy with Battlegrounds for the year. So keep it coming. But thanks for the question, Rakamar. Hachikumo wrote in and wants to know, do you think the current seasonal event is festive enough? I wish you ended the question just there, because now I want to get into a question of what do we measure festive by?
Yeah.
But Hachikumo continues, how do we make seasonal events feel more involved and worthy of celebration? Do you think the game will one day need an in-game calendar like WoW so people can get more timely reminders on events? I think this one's pretty subtle. I honestly forgot there was an event going on until Hachikumo said something.
There's little snowflakes floating around all over the place, which makes me very happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the actual Hearthstone game, I don't feel like is different. And I think a lot of the celebration happens in Tavern Brawl. I got a tweet last week from someone who was like, hey, did you know there's a special card back available in Tavern Brawl? And it was one of the festive ones that I already had. So Tavern Brawl just awarded me my pack. So I kind of wish that there was more, just more cosmetics tied to it. I think that's what makes a seasonal event in any game. Like, so Dead by Daylight gives out codes and you get a cosmetic of an ugly Christmas sweater for all of the killers and all of the survivors. And they just kind of like give you a couple more every year. And there's just, I think, more cosmetics. Like if I could complete an achievement, since we have those now, or a quest, that like the result was I get Christmas lights as a border on any of my holiday portraits, or like any of my, hero portraits, then I would absolutely do that, because I would have freaking Christmas lights on my portraits all year round. Like, I don't know. It just, I do think that there's potentially more they could do. I don't think that the Hearthstone event is necessarily bad. I think it's been maybe better in previous years because we had, festive card backs and stuff like that, which they've kind of moved away from for some reason. It's like they're giving us more ways to get the old ones, which is great for people who weren't around, but for those of us who were, it's a little lackluster.
I mean, to that I defend, like, I don't know, like it's very rare that like in-game holidays in World of Warcraft get new and exciting things to collect. Like if you've done them before, you probably have most of the collectibles, unless it's the Love Rocket. You bastard, please drop. But like, I don't know. I think that's fine. Like we already have such excruciating card back bloat that I don't look at that as.
Well, that's why I say it doesn't have to be card backs. It could be.
Yeah.
Just give me lights around my hero portrait.
They already themed some of the boards, and
there's some of the boards.
Yeah,
for
we're
sure.
getting a lot more cosmetics through the rewards track. And whatnot. So I don't know. That's kind of where my head's at. I mean, they bundled like the Old God update, the Battlegrounds, with their Wintervale announcement, but I just don't look at that and go, oh yeah, this is clearly part of the Christmas event. Because it's not. It is so clearly not. It's the Battlegrounds update that we knew was coming, that we were essentially promised when they told us, hey, expect a major Battlegrounds update every expansion. And it's just like, well, this is clearly the one now. So, yeah, it's just part of it. Like, I don't know, like they're here you go, Joss. Their promotional image for Wintervale bringing Old Gods to the Battlegrounds is the actual headline over on the official Hearthstone website right now. Has Cthulhu's giant eyeball with a big old sand hat on top. But when I go into Battlegrounds, it's just normal Cthulhu. Let's just, just put Santa hats on all the Old Gods in Battlegrounds. I don't know. So can we put little tiny Santa hats on each of Yogg-Saron's individual teeth? Is that something we could do?
Teeth might be
because they're conal,
excessive, but I think tentacles.
Okay. The ends of the tentacles.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah,
I dig it.
Anywhere, I mean, anywhere there's an eyeball.
Well, the eyeballs could be sleigh bells. Like
there
each
you
one
go.
could be an individual sleigh bell. Just don't call them sleigh balls. And to the point of a calendar, I'm always down for more information being shown in the game. Hachikumo, I would not mind a calendar of sorts.
Yeah, they do the little bannery thing now, right? That they never used to do. That's like, hey, this is what's going on right now.
Yeah, and that is
which
helpful.
Is a step up.
So in a game like Heroes, when we do infer a lot of things from when seasons end. When they're like, season ends in X amount of weeks, we're like, oh, I guess there's a big update coming in X amount of weeks. And so that can be problematic if you're trying to keep things under wraps. And Hearthstone has always played, we have inferred things on the show many times by looking at the kind of release schedule from past years of Hearthstone, but they've always kind of held things close to their chest in terms of when to expect things to release, because they've always played a little fast and loose with it. and I think a calendar would make that a little more challenging. The fact that we got a roadmap this year blows my mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Who's our next question from?
Hollow Point writes in and says, have you gotten Rod of Roasting Id yet?
Have I gotten Rod roasted yet? No, actually, I haven't. I have not been Rod roasted.
Yeah, I've played Yogg a couple times, but I think like we talked about with Pie's question off the top, the game's too fast. Even if you put Yogg in your deck, you're probably not going to get to the point of playing him. So.
Yeah, I barely have seen him. I know I saw Yogg, I think, like twice launch week, and I didn't get rotted either times. And I don't think I did I even crack Yogg? I don't know. I do know I definitely haven't put Yogg in a deck, so I haven't also.
Oh, I made Yogg day one. I was like, this is happening. And then there was all the reports and stuff of it crashing clients and kicking people out and stuff in the first, like probably 24 to 48 hours. I think he was pretty bugged.
The micro machine of constructed.
I haven't. I have not. I have not gone back to him since, unfortunately. But yeah, I haven't actually been hit by the rod yet. I'm sure it'll happen. And that'll be the off the top conversation of the week.
He's gonna guess what happened to me. And I'm just gonna be
rotted.
And I'm just gonna be like, I'm glad it was you and not me. So I would have just been sitting here just scowling, and you would have been like, "Hey, Garrett, did you get roasted?" Be like, "You knew it. You knew what happened, didn't you? Didn't you?" Yeah, no, I haven't. Twitch question from Dax. Some of the best Heroes of the Storm memes around, by the way, if you're not following Dax on Twitter. I just got into Hearthstone about a month ago and strictly been playing Battlegrounds. What would be the best way to get into ladder, even if it is to spend money? That is not a problem. What would you recommend purchasing? Cool. So I don't need to jump through a lot of hoops here. I would definitely recommend either watching tournament play, YouTube videos, or Twitch streams of ladder play and see what is out there. And I'm going to have to give this answer assuming you want to win and climb ladder. Because if you want to have fun, the world is your oyster. I can't tell you how you have fun. But if you want to win and you want to have a somewhat enjoyable time while you're doing it, I would do some reconnaissance by like watching other players play. Go watch successful players play the game, see what decks they're using, jump around, look at different classes, and see what looks interesting to you. And then go
I think that's probably where I would start, is figuring out which class you want to focus on, which one has a play style that appeals to you, because they do play quite differently in some cases. So, I mean, and you can absolutely just choose one and you're like, whoa, I like Valera. She looks super cool. And then like teach yourself Rogue and have a little bit more of an uphill climb right off the bat. Or you could go something like Major Hunter, which is a little bit more straightforward. It depends kind of on your background with card games, and you know, just with Hearthstone in general. It's good you've been playing Battlegrounds. There's some minion crossover there, but yeah, I think that figuring out which class you want to play first and what kind of fits your play style would be a good place to start.
Yeah. And then if you like, you know, if you're on a certain budget, you can use a site like HS Replay because they have the dust cost for every deck. So then you can go over to a fan site like HS Replay or wherever it is you like looking around, and see what is an affordable deck.
Mm-hmm. And Rational Pie in the chat room is pointing out that you get the pre-built starter decks once you get high enough on the new ladder. So the new player experience has those 25 levels, right? From 50 to 25 that you only do one time, and you can't lose stars, and you just have to grind up through that. And then you get into the big boy ladder. And once you get into the big boy ladder, they give you a starter deck. So I'm not sure if the starter decks have changed and evolved since we first spoke about them. But at the time, there was, I believe it was a Highlander, but the mage deck had like a gajillion legendaries. So even if you didn't want to play mage, okay.
I don't know if they've been updated for this expansion. I assume they have been, but yeah, we've talked about them.
Okay, Pi did say that they've been updated. Yeah. Okay. But anyways, I would go and see what the offerings are in terms of those starter decks, and either pick one that you think would be good to play and, you know, fun to try and everything else, or just figure out which one will give you the most dust and get that one, because it's just a free starter deck. So yeah.
So that's what I would do. If you want a personal recommendation, I don't think you can go wrong with Hunter, because they always find a way. So if you're looking for kind of a starter class to invest in,
Hunter's a really, really good option right now. I think too, I would say, since you're not adverse to purchasing things, I would recommend purchasing the Tavern Pass just for the bonus XP to help you get through that reward track faster, because the faster you complete that reward track, the more gold and packs you're going to get, which is just going to kind of naturally fill out your collection as a new player. So I think that, that's kind of a one-time purchase that's just going to make your play more rewarding over time, right?
Yeah. Oh, you like red and magic. Okay, just go make a face hunter. You'll be fine.
Or face hunter, or there's a aggro demon hunter deck as well. It's very powerful right now.
Recently nerfed, but yeah.
Still.
Yeah. Still good.
Although if you do go and play demon hunter, I can never speak to you again. So I don't know how much of a trade-off that is for you, but
I mean, you don't have to podcast with her Dax, so I would go get some wins.
Yeah. So true.
Well, it's almost like we are at the week of a holiday, and that it is really unattractive for anyone to advertise at this point, Jocelyn. So in lieu of sponsors, is there anything you would like to promote?
Just one more time, I'm going to talk a little bit about Extra Life. It's for an amazing charity, the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. I'm about 100 and change away from the new expanded goal, because you guys have been so great and so awesome this year. So we started off with a goal of $1,000, and we're now up to $2,500 because everyone's been so super generous. So we're just shy of the $2,500 goal. I'm going to be doing a little bit of streaming before the end of the year to try to hit that. But thank you everyone for being there when we're streaming, for sharing the link, and for those of you who donated. It's been such a wonderful cap to just shit pile year. So thank you guys so much for helping us to do some good with Extra Life. So if you'd like to support us, the team is over at bit.ly/TGI Extra Life 2020. We'll put the link in the show notes.
I would like to double down on that. You know where to find my stuff, everybody. amove.tv. Go check out Let's Talk About Star Wars. I've been having such a blast on that show. Freaking The Mandalorian broke me last week, Jocelyn. This is the finale of season 2. Broke me inside.
Yeah.
Just go listen to the show. I literally I recorded the most recent podcast 5 minutes after finishing the season finale. So it's the rawest reaction you'll ever hear from me on a Star Wars product. So anyways, back to your questions, everybody. Let's get into the kind of questions that are looking forward at the future of Hearthstone. Starting with Caden is how I'm going to pronounce that one. Friendly felicitations. Is that how I say that?
Felicitations.
Friendly felicitations. I don't know why I'm having an issue with that one. Furious Feathered Pals.
All emails now have to have that word in their greeting, please.
I'll just ignore it. Friendly fuckery, Furious Feathered Fowls. With 2020 as chaotic as it has been and BlizzCon line right around the corner, what big Hearthstone news do you want/expect? For me, I would love more in-game tools for deck tracking in-game, collection management, and stat views. They have our profiles with some information public, but I'd love to delve into just how many times that eye for an eye saved me from an aggro secret mage, or more simply, what deck win rates actually are based on huge official data samples rather than just who submits to a third party. I will go to bat for HS Replay, Caden, and say, as someone who is the owner of a different games stat website, the number of games logged on HS Replay is obscene. Absolutely obscene.
It is. So I think it's fairly safe to say that their data sample is large enough to be fairly representative. Obviously, it's not every single game logged in Hearthstone. Only Blizzard has those stats, but it's still, I think, a pretty good measure because there are just so many people participating in that now.
Yeah.
Literally millions of games.
Yeah. That being said, I would not mind at all seeing actual legitimate internal statistics. And I get really excited when folks like Ixar cite them publicly.
Which, like, I don't know. I really wish, because obviously they're using them for decision-making purposes. They have all that information. I wish there was like a global stats page somewhere in the UI that you could just go like peek at and see like most played class, like winningest deck. I don't know, like, yeah. Kind of basically like HS Replay with some of those like filter options, but then, you know, made up of literally all the Hearthstone data. And maybe that would be too much for the client to handle. I feel like every time I say it would be nice to have blank in the client, it's just like the client would explode.
Yeah. I mean, anytime we talk about hopeful improvements to the client, just assume that there's hidden text where we disclaim, we understand that the client is probably a janky mess of coding, bubblegum, and duct tape holding it together, and don't expect this to be easy to implement. Because that's certainly the vibe I've gotten from the client over the years. But yeah, I would like to see this as well. Any sort of deck tracking. Like I still, from the get-go, I'm surprised that there's no sort of replay feature in Hearthstone. It seems ripe for it. I would love to go back and rewatch games seeing my opponent's hand.
Yes.
Like that would be so cool. And also to be able to like send replays to friends or whatever we could live in, make content based on other people's replays. That would be so
now
cool.
You're taking me back to the Husky StarCraft years, and I'm going to cry because all those videos are gone now.
He started making videos again.
I know, but they're not StarCraft replay shoutcasting, and I'm sad.
That's fair. He's been a little busy. Also, Husky, I know you don't listen, but I hate you because your hair is better than mine.
He does have great hair.
I was a big fan of his back in the SC2 days and have not been keeping up with him since he like disappeared, and then he came back and I was like, Husky's back and he's fabulous. My God, that hair's amazing. Yeah, it was,
Garrett has hair envy.
Yeah, that's a rare thing. Listen, I am an extremely insecure person, but I am proud of my hair. So it's rare that I have hair envy. Anyways, yeah, I mean, as to what we kind of want / what do we expect, I mean, the expected things are expected. We're going to probably get 3 new expansions. We'll see how this mini set goes. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more mini sets along the way. More updates for Battlegrounds. I'm curious about duels because I feel like nobody talks about duels anymore already. I was expecting anyone to care last week, Joss. We were like, we don't really play duels. We're not going to cover the update. Nobody said anything. Like, usually, like, we cannot go a week without one person saying you talked about Standard or Battlegrounds too much and not enough about the other one. We seem to ride that line of not making either side happy.
Yeah, exactly. Never making anyone happy. That's our line that we've chosen for some reason.
That's the line we've chosen, and I'm comfortable in it. But like in our small community, no one seems to give a damn about duels anymore, and it like that just fell off real fast to me. The last time I heard anyone mention duels to me was when we had Dexter on. He was like, "Oh, I like duels. It's been fun." Like.
Yeah, I think people are kind of playing it, but for whatever reason, content creators, unless it's like paid Blizzard advertising, don't seem to be engaging with it quite as much. And I'm not 100% sure why. I know I was not a huge fan of it when it first launched, but that's because building decks isn't really my thing. And building decks was fine when it was dungeon run because I was playing against the AI, and the AI is not really all that great. versus like as soon as you go in against other players and I get absolutely wrecked, I'm just like, oh, now I have another mode where I feel like I have to go and look things up, and that's not fun. Whereas like Battlegrounds, I feel like I can pretty much do my own thing, and I do decently. Like, and I know that there are super ideal, perfect like builds and turns to do this, that, and the other thing. And I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I can much more analyze what's going on in my particular game and tavern and make my own decisions. And I don't ever feel like that in anything that makes me like construct a deck. Like all of those modes, I feel like I have to just go look it up because I have no hope of doing it myself and playing against other players. So duels was never going to be my jam, but I do think it's an interesting concept. Have they even, I don't even know if they've fully released it yet.
I think it still has the beta tag on it.
Yeah, no, I just, cause I know that they were saying that they were going to like slowly give us like more hero power options and stuff over time, which is like, I'm kind of just waiting for the whole thing to be done and out to go look at it again. Cause when there was like one hero power option and like one treasure option, I didn't really find it that fun, but with more variety, I might. So I was going to go back to it. I just, was kind of waiting for a lull in my interest in Battlegrounds and my interest in Constructed to kind of revisit duels. But yeah, it doesn't have the hype and staying power and excitement that Battlegrounds did when it first launched, which I'm not really 100% sure why, but we also have a new mode coming like imminently sometime, like maybe it'll be announced at BlizzConline, but it's before the next expansion because there was that new game mode icon in like section 3 of the roadmap, right? So that would take us from the launch of Darkmoon through to the end of the standard year, which is going to be, assuming they don't make any crazy big changes, it's going to be, in like April in the spring, right?
Yeah.
So we've got kind of like...
That ties into Kilmernock had written in and asked basically that, hey, are we going to start talking about that new game mode?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. Because to me, while we're on the subject of duels, and I don't mean to be critical of it, but to me, duels it wasn't as big of, I don't know. To me, it doesn't look like as much effort went into it as Battlegrounds. I'm struggling to find the words here. I feel like that's not what I mean to say, because I have no way of knowing. But Battlegrounds was so different from any way we had previously played Hearthstone. Whereas duels, it's like, well, we've done dungeon runs enough times. Like, we know what this looks like. We know how the system works. And then it had the unenviable position of releasing alongside the biggest Hearthstone controversy of the year, and also having a ton of it locked behind the size of your collection, which just played into and fed that controversy. But at the end of the day, like, I look at Battlegrounds and go, I never would have expected that this would even be a possible way to play Hearthstone. And then I see duels and I go, oh, that seems kind of expected. And that was just kind of my gut reaction. Like when I first read the announcement, because I was gone for that too. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I wasn't super hyped. With Battlegrounds, I was like, this shouldn't be possible. How is this happening? How is Jocelyn right with the craziest thing that ever came out of her mouth?
I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I just say ridiculous things. And, well, I mean, maybe, because the other ridiculous thing that I said is, what if it's Among Us in Hearthstone? So maybe that's what we're going to get. Who knows? I don't even know how we would do it, but I didn't know how we would do an auto battler either. So
Bob is sus. He never gives me the right stuff.
See, I feel like Among Us with a Warcraft skin would be so fun if you got to play as like your iconic characters. Like, it just, like, there's so much lore and so many feelings there that even with a totally random group of people, because that's one of the things I noticed in Among Us is, like, the more history you have with people, the more like preconceived notions about who's good and who's evil, very much makes Among Us a really, really, really good game. So you could literally play with random people because you've already got all of the stuff about like, oh, who's evil? Well, like Sylvanas and Garrosh, like not the greatest people. Gul'dan is another one, pretty evil. But then like Anduin, he's always good. He's like glowing with the light and stuff. Like he can't be suspicious at all. Like he's on the good guy side, and then Anduin comes up and like stabs you with a lightning bolt or something. I don't know. How's the light work?
It would tie in really well with old god corruption, because then like anyone could be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Anyone could be the acolyte.
I have no idea how you make it work, but that's not my job.
Anduin was not the minion of N'Zoth as he floats down to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
You're on a boat. You kick people into the ocean because you think they're a minion of N'Zoth. We figured it out, Jocelyn. There it is.
Done. Easy.
There it is. Done. Print it. Clearly
Yeah.
the easiest thing ever. But yeah, that's just kind of where my head is at. Is that Battlegrounds like completely took me, like maybe take a step back and go, wow, I literally didn't think it was possible. And wow, it's legitimately fun as hell. Like I really like that mode. Whereas Duels, I'm like, it's fine. This could just kind of my Duels review. My favorite thing about Duels is playing with old cards. And I know I can go do that in Wild, but to me, the coolest thing about Duels is that it's these kind of curated like old sets we get to pull from mixed with newer sets. And it's not just everything ever. And to me, I find that really fascinating. So I don't know if I want to see more of that. I really, really, really want another attempt at a limited card format. Because of copy paste our entire conversation about Arena we had earlier.
Yeah. Which I think that would probably be pretty interesting for me as well, because again, it pulls from something that I know obviously from Battlegrounds, which is the shared pool of resources. I think that's really cool. And I'd like to see them do something with that. Although, you know, again, everything we said earlier, but, do you think, I think maybe a bigger and better question, we've kind of hinted at the client feeling like it's held together with duct tape at this point. We already know that we're like Battlegrounds obviously exists. Our second, third, I guess, because not quarter, but like our second expansion game mode is Duels. Our third is still, you know, to be announced. So do we think that we'll get the same pace of game modes given to us through 2021? Or do you think that this was kind of an explosion of modes year for the Hearthstone team, and going forward, it's going to be another few years before we get new stuff added again? Like what's your feeling? What do you think the Hearthstone team is up to?
That's so loaded. It's such a loaded question. I have no idea, because it's just, we're like,
I feel like we can't add too many more game modes without getting a full proper rebuild of the Hearthstone client based on everything we've kind of been told over the last, like, however many years since they first started working on spectator mode. Like everything they've ever told us about the client is like, we're trying, but this might all break. Like it sounds like yeah.
I mean, I've just, I don't feel I have the slightest grasp on how insane it would be to try and deploy like a new version of the Hearthstone client. So I personally file that away under extremely unlikely. Like I think there's a 0.1% chance there's a pocket universe where that is true and we are not living in it. So and then just with new modes, you're absolutely right. I think there's just like, how many buttons can we cram into this UI?
Yeah, like I'm starting to really worry about client stability.
Yeah, and plus I don't know, like this has been a weird year, and like just kind of like with my sense of the success of Duels, and also like was there a drop off? People were and still are extremely mad with how the whole, you know, rewards track situation played out. I am not really one of them, but I still see where they're coming from. Like, but was there an actual drop off? all of that is going to also play a role, and we're just never going to know. Like, we're never going to know what the fallout of that was, like, beyond the shadow of a doubt, right? Tiago, our buddy from HS Replay, made a really interesting post, showing HS Replay's numbers, saying there's not been a drop-off, but also with the caveat of this isn't every game ever. This is just people that decide to upload to HS Replay, yada, yada, yada.
Right. And we already know that because they're using the HS Replay tool, that they are the most engaged of all Hearthstone players. They are tracking their games using a third-party software. They're visiting a website to find like the best builds for their specific rank. Like, they are the most engaged Hearthstone players. So they are very likely to be the ones who are going to keep playing, probably regardless of anything.
Yeah. Again, it's not perfect, but I would imagine that you would be able to draw some sort of meaningful conclusion by looking at that, because I now own a site called Hotslogs, which is a Heroes of the Storm stats website, and the amount of replays we get sent there pales in comparison to something like HS Replay. And if I didn't know when May released this year and when Hogger released this year in Heroes of the Storm, I could just look at the weekly data and traffic of Hotslogs, and I could tell you exactly when those heroes released. So that type of stuff does tend to have a measurable impact on fan sites. But it's just, I don't think they can keep up this pace, I guess, is my TLDR on this. But I don't know. They seem jazzed and inspired in a way we've never seen the team before. So I don't want to I will never say never again after freaking Battlegrounds.
Yeah, I guess that's a perfect cap on this question. Is it could be anything, guys. We literally have no idea. But I'm excited about BlizzConline, because I'm hoping that it gives me the same sort of feeling. Like, maybe we'll have to get in like a 20-person Skype call or something and all watch the announcements together. I don't know, but I'm hoping we can still end up with the same sort of feelings, because I definitely, even with all of the Hearthstone announcements that came out around the same time, I definitely was missing the BlizzCon feel. So yeah, we'll have to see what comes. But Volkai wrote in and gave us a follow-up question to our Hearthstone subscription talk that we had on Taxgiving, and says, well, I could see content creators being willing to pay $30 to $60 a month for Hearthstone. For most players, when you say subscription, they're going to start thinking about either Netflix or World of Warcraft and see a price tag that's double that and react either the same or worse as they have to the new progression system. $15 a month is about as much as you can reasonably expect someone who does not make a living off Hearthstone to pay to access a full collection. Make that your baseline, and then have a $30 to $45 a month all gold premium subscription option. Include discounted multi-month subscriptions, and you probably have a viable subscription model.
Yeah, and as a refresher for listeners who may have missed that episode, we were having a hypothetical conversation on if a subscription model would ever potentially work for Hearthstone, and if it did, what we think people would be willing to pay. And
my caveat for subscriptions is always, I need to be able to play everything in a game and not pay extra money. So like, I would want to have like all of the cards, like infinity, everything, just like if I'm paying you a set amount every month, nothing else better be behind a paywall.
What about Fairy Wings in World of Warcraft, which I know you pay for, Jocelyn?
That came with my subscription, because I have a 6-month subscription.
Oh, well,
so
you didn't say if I... Okay, what about the mount store?
What about the mount store?
You don't get all those mounts with your subscription.
That's true, but they're extra cosmetic.
Okay.
Like, I don't want any game mechanics or functionality stuck behind a paywall if I'm paying a monthly price.
That's fair. And frankly, Netflix, you're canceling literally everything I care about. So your up subscription next year is starting to look a little suspect to me.
Yeah, and my Netflix subscription just keeps going up. I feel like every 6 months or so I get an email and they're like, yo, guess what? You're gotta pay us an extra $1.
I'm not getting a finale to Glow, and you canceled Sabrina. You are useless to me because I'm gonna resub every 2 years because that's how long you take in between Stranger Things seasons. Congratulations.
Hey, to be fair, they do make Sugar Rush, which is my favorite baking show. So
would have assumed that was a free-to-play game if you hadn't told me it had anything to do with Netflix. I literally don't know what it is.
Well, you're missing out.
Apparently. Volkai, I mean, this is all a major, giant hypothetical. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I also think there's a world where Hearthstone could, or just card games, like certain card games in general, I think could inhabit a more premium niche because of the historical cost of traditional physical card games.
But yeah, even at $30 a month, we're not approaching Magic prices yet, right?
No, not even close.
Yeah. Which again, like those are physical cards versus digital goods, and there's that whole conversation to have. We're not going to get into nitty-gritty economics, but
I mean, I think it's worth mentioning that has been a big thing called into question by the entire conversation we've been having around the new rewards track.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of people, I think rightfully so, going, why are we even comparing this to physical card games anymore? For lots of obvious reasons. The big one for me that I've always agreed with is I can go sell my Magic cards. And you're right, you can. I wish I had when I was regularly playing. Those Gatecrash and Theros Planeswalkers aren't really worth all that much anymore. Anyways. It's an interesting point, Volkai. I really just don't see Hearthstone ever going down that road, but I will never say never.
It is interesting though. Yeah, it is interesting though, because I mean, even at like if we say $30 a month over the course of an expansion, that's approaching, like, it's just a little bit more depending on which expansion we're talking about, because some of them last longer than others. But like that's approaching the money I pay for the 2 pre-order bundles, right? So, I mean, if I could just pay $30 a month consistently over the course of the year and always have all of the cards, because I don't get all the cards from my pre-orders, then, and again, this is somebody who's already dumping money into Hearthstone. So, you know, like this Hearthstone subscription, I don't think is ever going to be for free to play players, right? Because that's the whole point. They're free to play. But
yes.
Yeah, for somebody who over time is trying to approach as many cards as they can possibly own, this would over time be a cheaper option.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Rational Pie put it really, really well in the chat room. Hearthstone is an incredibly expensive video game, which it is, but it's a really cheap hobby, which is also true.
I feel like I've heard Hat say that. Is that a Hat quote?
Is it a hat coat? Coat? Is it a hat coat? I swear there's nothing in here but Coke, you guys.
Coca-Cola?
Yes.
Just clarifying. But yeah,
that's how you know that I actually am Santa, because I'm
absolutely
drinking
right,
Coca-Cola.
You are absolutely. As someone with multiple hobbies, and one of them is motor vehicles. Yeah. Hearthstone's cheap, y'all.
Yeah. Even like, I mean, I was like, okay, well, what other hobbies do I have? And are they actually more expensive? And it's like, yeah, I'm looking at my nail polish and glitter collection right now. That cost me more than Hearthstone. Like, yeah.
Katie got really into Warhammer painting this year. Let me tell you about Warhammer mini painting. Holy butts. That gets real expensive real quick.
Matt got into mini painting this year, not Warhammer, but Dungeons and Dragons. And yeah.
The material they make their minis out of is crap. Terrible.
I'll be sure to tell Matt so he can pass it on.
Katie got one of the little frog dudes because she's like, these are just adorable and I have to paint them, even though they're not for Warhammer. I need them. And it's just like, the mold lines, and they're all like, you can bend them. They're all soft and weird. Ugh. It's weird stuff. I didn't know I'd
does
ever have an
stuff with
opinion.
the stove. I don't know.
Stuff with the stove? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. There's like, I don't know. There's like boiling water and then like tongs involved and like, I don't know.
Okay. I guess there's a whole other sub level to D&D minis that I was unaware of, but cool. Good to know. Good to know.
I actually have one that he painted right here randomly.
Oh, damn. Oh, that looks good. He's doing good work. Did good work over there, that Matt. We're now into the personal question and off topic. So this is the last.
If mini painting wasn't enough off
yes.
topic.
Well, here we are.
Here we are. Segue. Yeah.
Here we are. Yeah. Celestalon, much earlier in chat, asked what each of our favorite Battlegrounds heroes were. And I didn't have time to pre-think about this. So I don't, let's see. I think at the moment, it's Millhouse.
Okay.
I get really excited when I get to play Millhouse.
That's fun. I haven't played Millhouse in quite a while, actually. I mean, obviously, I really like Alex Straza, but to take the non-obvious answer, probably I actually like Forest Warden Omu. Anyways,
so you and I are both just slaves for value.
Kind of, yeah. I just I like heroes. I liked Stitches in the like original iteration, or I guess the original group of heroes as well, because I basically, and it's also the reason I like Alex Straza, I like leveling as fast as possible, taking the risk with my health, going down really low, but then like having a crazy explosive board at the end. Yeah. It's like, the faster I can get to 5 and 6, then the happier I am. And I like heroes that support that.
Yeah. Really like I really like Rag still too. Like just the two things I like the things that get me excited are cheating the economy in some way or just endless stats. I love stats. I just like seeing big minions, mostly because I like winning. But yeah, and that's what Ragnos gives me. And so like I really like Cthulhu. I know Cthulhu has kind of ended, I think, just outside of the top 10 on Nature's Replay, but I don't care. I really like Cthulhu.
I haven't had him yet. He's the only old god I haven't had a chance to play yet.
I've only got it the one time, that very first game. That's on youtube.com/AMoveTV right now. Go watch it. Got over 1,000 views on it. I'm so proud. We never get that many views. Yeah, Celestion, I'm sticking with Millhouse. I get really excited when I see a Millhouse. El Avion, I'm sorry I took your question, Jocelyn.
That's okay. That's okay. You were super, super excited about Celestalon. I get it.
Yeah.
Lavion asks, what is your favorite bad Battlegrounds hero to play? Like objectively bad tier 4 crew. For me, it's the kitty. I like Bigglesworth.
Same answer. Windmill slam Bigglesworth every time. I love Bigglesworth.
You know who is way, way down in tier 4 that makes me so sad is AFK. She's
terrible now.
I know. It's like everybody else has just outgrown her, and it's just everything's so much more powerful now that even in her original iteration, I don't think she'd be good enough right now.
Also, tier 3 got really bloated. It's hard to guarantee finding value minions. Or good tempo minions. Like it
just makes me so sad.
Yeah. It's just
also
rough.
Because she is so rough, it makes her achievement that much harder to get because you have to take your entire third turn off as well to get her achievement. So it's like you take your normal 2 rounds off, but then you're not allowed to do anything for the next one either. And it's crazy.
I already mentioned it, but I was going to mention this too. I think stats may be drugged down because of that achievement. I think that might be playing a factor. It just might be.
Possibly. It would be interesting to know, again, from Blizzard's side of things, like or I wonder if you could actually see, like if HS Replay could tell us, like how many people are doing nothing on that next turn when they should be discovering their minions and taverning up or whatever. I wonder how many are actually skipping that turn as well.
Celestalon, you still here?
Percentage of AFK players who are chasing the achievement, I would like to know.
Celestalon, you still here? Just go look it up. I know that's a thing. You clearly have a button that just says, look this up.
Yeah.
And then you can tell us. Please hit that button.
Look up what Joce just said. Push that button.
And then also press the button that gives me golden legendaries in my packs, please. It's been a while. It's been years.
He's fine. He doesn't need them.
Years. Since I accidentally opened my first golden pack and got a golden Deathwing. That's the last time I naturally opened a golden legendary. What is King Dupless?
Which is already a guaranteed golden card, right? So it's even less of an achievement because it was a golden
Thanks,
pack
Joss.
anyways. I'm sorry.
Thanks, luckiest bastard I've ever known in the history of Hearthstone.
That did come out a whole lot bitchier than I meant to. I didn't mean to diminish your accomplishment at all. That was a really jerk thing for me to say. I'm sorry.
That's great. Well, rude Joss, what does King Dupless have to say?
All right, King Dupless says, here's a question. What hero portrait do you use for each of the 10 classes? Well, 9 classes in Joss's case, because we know she doesn't use Demon Hunter. Damn straight.
Well, that means she uses Illidan. It's the default.
Well, yeah, exactly. I never change it from the default because they just don't exist to me. But I was really surprised that with one exception, we don't play any of the same heroes on our classes.
Okay, well, for Druid, I use Elise. Who do you use?
I use Hazelbark because it's a creepy, creepy tree. Why wouldn't you?
Why would you? Because I want to sleep at night without seeing that image burned in my retinas.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I want to terrify my opponents before they actually even get into the game. Yeah, Nightmare Fuel. I know this. This is why I play her.
Oh, jeez. As we continue,
Elise is a close runner-up, though, for sure.
Okay, yeah, I love Elise. It's like
her art is so good.
So many of the characters, like original characters in Hearthstone 2, like they really over time, I've really warmed up to them. I've grown to really love and like get excited when I see these characters return. And Elise is one of, like, all of the explorers, except for Bran, because I still just think about that one dungeon out by Ulduar where I had to listen to Bran drone on for hours at a time while chain running in Wrath of the Lich King. But the other 3 explorers, I love them deeply. Before we continue, by the way, chat room, now's a great time for questions at AMoveTV, so I see it, and I'll start copying and pasting them into this for the end of the show here. For Hunter, I use Illyria. I would use Sylvanas, but I don't use her. I don't own her. Who do you use?
And I guess to be fair, I do own and use Sylvanas, so we would have the same Hunter character if you use. I kind of flip between Sylvanas and just default Rexxar because I have my Golden Hunter. So sometimes if I'm feeling shiny, then I play Rexxar, and then otherwise I just play Sylvanas.
Yeah, I deeply love Sylvanas until recent character choices, but one of my all-time favorite Warcraft characters. But yeah, I didn't buy her. We don't really talk about this, and I don't think it's all that important, but I think paid for portraits are too damn expensive.
Oh yeah, they definitely are. That doesn't stop my fangirling though.
I would like them to cost like a third and just have like 3 times the amount of portraits added to the game. Yeah, I'd rather have way more options and them cost less.
Yep.
But yeah, Mage, I use Kel'Thuzad because why wouldn't you?
So I use Golden Jaina for basically the same reasons as Golden Rexxar, but actually her, I think, oh shoot, which one is it? Oh, it's like not Recruit Jaina, Novice Jaina, maybe. It's one of the, I think, like Book of Heroes ones, where she's like trying to conjure a water elemental, and it doesn't look like the big beefy water elemental. It looks like this little like deformed yet adorable, like, please kill me. You did the spell wrong. And it just like it makes me so happy. So yeah, that's why if I'm not Golden Jaina, I'm can't cast a spell, Jaina.
Can't cast a spell, Jaina. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I'm trying to find the name real fast in the background, but I'm failing miserably.
I think it's like Novice Jaina, but yeah.
Novice Jaina, okay.
I think. Yeah. Chat room will know in a couple minutes.
Gotcha. For Pally, I use Liadrin. Who do you use?
I use Suranoyo, of course.
So Suranoyo is close for
It
me.
pushes hero power, and then it goes pew with like confetti. Like,
I have a real soft spot for Blood Knights, and Liadrin is the coolest Blood Knight ever. So
she definitely, I was Liadrin until they came out with Suranoyo, and then I was like, this is my paladin forever.
yeah, everyone's always surprised when I don't use
Plus,
Arthas.
all
But
his emotes just say hello.
yeah, I don't.
Hello?
To answer the question, I know we'll follow this up, Garrett. Oh my God, why aren't you using Arthas? It's not cool Arthas. It's Prince Arthas. No one cares about Prince Arthas.
That's true.
Also,
Everyone wants Lich King Arthas.
I don't have it because I don't like most single player Hearthstone content.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate Garrett like confession right now. We're getting super serious
I've
here.
mentioned
in the
this
off-topic
before.
session.
I've mentioned this before. And if you've listened to every episode, I've never had an update where I go, hey, I finally went back and I'm just so uninterested in unlocking that portrait. For Priest, I use Lunara. Who do you use?
Lunara is a
Oh, wait,
druid.
no. I use Tyrande. I meant to write Tyrande.
Okay.
So I guess we have two of the same.
We do have two the same then, yeah, because I also use
I don't know why I wrote.
Anduin is lame.
I don't know why I wrote Tyrande or Lunara. I don't know, man. I'm tired.
I was really confused. I was like, okay, I know she's a druid, but maybe they did some weird druid priest crossover thing that I missed. Maybe there's a priest Lunara.
I'm not sure I've played a priest
does
game all
moon
year,
things.
so it doesn't really matter who my priest hero is.
Honestly, I hope at some point soon we get a like Night Warrior Tyrande skin, because I mean her normal Tyrande skin is fine, but her Tyrande as the Night Warrior is pretty badass. So
She ain't no priest though. Night Warrior Tyrande is no longer a priest.
She's still a disciple of Elune.
She's cutting people's heads off with a sword and casting Moonfire.
Yeah.
Tyrande doesn't know what class Tyrande is.
Well, yeah. Well, neither does Anduin.
Anduin is a paladin like that refuses to admit it. A paladin in denial. And Tyrande refuses to commit. Rogue, I use Maiev because Maiev is awesome.
I just use Valera. I like Valera.
I do too.
I think it's
I like Valera though for the reasons that you like Henry Cavill.
Oh. Those are not my same reasons. I just think she's badass and I like elves.
Yo, see, that's how they would save Alexstrasza for me. Give me Alexstrasza's elf form.
Maiev technically also is an elf, but you can't tell because of all her weird armor.
Her awesome armor. I love Warden armor. That shit is awesome.
Okay.
I don't like their glaives. They're one of the most impractically designed weapons in the history of impractically designed weapons, but the armor is sick. Shaman,
I just don't like the helmet. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, the helmet's a little strong, but it's like an owl. It's armored owl. It's so anyway. Okay, moving on. Shaman, Morgul until the day I die.
Morgul was my close second for sure. I like being the Thunder King.
Yeah, I love that raid in World of Warcraft. I don't give a crap about the Mogu. It is not. It's pretty low on my like favorite villainous, races and armies in Warcraft lore.
Man, it's too bad. I don't know. I think I really liked Pandaria. It was it's an expansion that holds a very special place in my heart because that was my first max level expansion. So, but yeah, like, I don't know. I just think the Thunder King looks so cool. And he's like, and he's all surrounded by lightning.
I do think that's cool. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Warlock, Mechadraxus. Yeah,
we went as polar opposite on Warlock as we possibly could because I play as Nemsy. Mechadraxus! Nemsy. Guys, I think I'm about to get in trouble. That's Garrus. I can't believe you do that face. And Azoth is also, I feel like Warlock has a lot of really good options for hero portraits.
Nemsy is a little high on her own supply. There's a word I would call Nemsy, but it's offensive.
You can type it in chat to me later. I'm curious now.
Yeah, Nemsy.
Wait, okay, now chat room is saying I'm a troll. What?
Nemsy has a horrible attitude. And
Really?
Yeah. I find it interesting that you use Nemsy because Nemsy is like the
Pixie
opposite.
Dream Warlock, I'm down.
Nemsy is like the opposite of kind, like Jocelyn, legitimately using the sorry
gives me
emote.
like Brightwing vibes. Like super adorable, but she'll eat your face.
She gives me the popular girls from Mean Girls vibe.
You mean Regina vibes?
What were they? Oh, what they called the plastics? Was that the term for them?
The
Yeah,
plastics,
she would be in the plastics in Mean Girls. 100%. And now I just want to see that whole gag. I want Nemsy to give me the high school weather report. That's what I want. That's what I want.
I just think she's adorable. So, yeah.
All right.
And then finally, the class that we actually agree on.
Okay.
Because,
So
of course.
Warrior, of course, Deathwing.
Deathwing.
Why would you be anyone else?
Deathwing. Exactly.
Why would you be Garrosh when you could be Deathwing?
Yeah, there's one option for heroes when you are playing Warrior. Like, Dwarf, please. Why wouldn't you be Deathwing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We've got a really hard-hitting, serious question from Skeletor for president.
That is true. Wants to know what Bob's backstory is.
Bob's
So I looked him up on the Hearthstone wiki, and I don't know if this is actually confirmed in game lore anywhere, but apparently he's a paladin.
What?
Yeah.
What?
He's listed as a paladin. I don't know if that is like Hearthstone wiki's like fantasy background or backstory, but apparently Bob is a paladin.
Class paladin. I wonder if that's something from like data mining. Like
I don't know. Could be.
Do all portraits have to have a class assigned to them as part of the way the game is built?
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah. So, I mean, to me, I like to think of Bob as like a retired adventurer, right? Because he clearly had to travel widely at some point because he knows what all the minions like to eat. So he clearly went and did his research. I think he's very well traveled. And obviously a paladin.
Rational Pie in the chat room says, yes, every portrait has a class assigned to it, but neutral can be assigned.
Oh.
So if that's the case, it was a choice to make him a paladin. So yeah, I don't remember any in-game reference to him being a paladin, but I could be. I wouldn't consider myself the utmost expert on Bob the bartender's lore.
On Bob? No,
Yeah.
I also am not.
Yeah, I think he is too. I mean, in my head, like, because he says it all the damn time when I'm playing Battlegrounds, he's just talking about how his place got smashed up in Dalaran. So he's a wandering bartender.
Yeah.
Which I guess is
Which
perfectly.
we also saw him in Oldham, right? Because he was Bizarre Bob.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Which I guess much more relaxed liquor laws in Azeroth. Because I don't think you could just pick up and start selling your booze anywhere you feel like it if you had a particularly bad bar fight one night.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Bob's bar gets smashed up in the solo adventure in the Dalaran heist one, right?
Yes. Yeah, because that's where we first saw him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would still like to see a tavern phase in duels. I still find it really weird that that's not part of it. But yeah. But yeah, I don't have anything clever in my head because that's just it. Although if he used to be a paladin and now he's a bartender, what happened? What happened? Like, because if you're a paladin, like you're a devout follower of an order.
Yeah.
Something happened with Bob. What? Oh my God! Like, what even? Like, he's older, got some good facial hair. Maybe the bald is a choice. You don't know. He may have just chosen to shave his head. but like, was he around at the fall of Arthas? Did something shake his belief
That's
in the
where I was
light?
gonna go. I was like, yeah,
Oh my
maybe
God.
he was one of those people that was at Strathholm and that was like, oh man, I've seen some shit. I had to call the people of Strathholm and I didn't believe in the light anymore, and I just had to make people happy with the rest of my days, pouring them drinks and listen to their problems because I'll never get those screams out of my ears.
He's just so positive though, but is that a coping mechanism? I mean, considering how much he thinks I'm going to win with the bogus rolls he's giving me, maybe that's the only explanation.
Yeah.
I think you can win this one, pal. Well, Bob, I'm tier 5, and those are all 1-star units. I'm not so certain that that's a good read on the situation. What type of person would think I could win with these offerings? I know, someone driven away from their core belief system as a result of watching the greatest of their order murder innocents.
Yeah.
Wow, this took a dark turn, Joss.
It did.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah. Wow.
Happy night from the patron Discord.
Skeletor thought this was going.
I don't know. This person's name is Skeletor for president, so I have a feeling they probably enjoyed the madness that just ensued. He-Man. Epi Knight from the patron Discord wants to know historical question, one that could be saved for a rainy or slow day. That hasn't happened all year, Epi Knight, and that's why we have taken, I think, approximately 17,000 months to get to this question. In your opinions, what is the most single broken card that has ever been released with a particular set compared to the power level at the time? And I broke this down into two things for me, because I think of kind of the card by itself, just like no other factors, like just a single card being super powerful by itself, but then also as the backbone of an archetype. So I kind of have two answers, and I have more than one answer for some of these. But so for by itself, like the first things that just came to mind were like Dr. Boom in its heyday. That was just one of the most across the board crafted legendaries by everyone. Because that one card by itself just brought so much value to the meta at the time. Which now he, like, even if you get the full board, he's not necessarily game ending in his new iteration, which is crazy. Yeah. And you're not seeing OG Dr. Boom played in Wild. And as a matter of fact, I saw a post the other day. I don't remember, but it was on the Facebook group that I reference every once in a while, the Inn. It's a giant Hearthstone group on Facebook. But someone was just like asking, like, hey, should I craft Dr. Boom or not? And like all the replies were just like, no, there's literally no reason. And I tend to agree with them. But at the time, Dr. Boom was insane. But it also makes me think of Sylvanas and really a lot of Hall of Fame cards that just brought so much value in and of themselves. And with Sylvanas and also cards like Ragnaros, I think fall into this category, that were these extremely powerful neutral minions that were not built around. We didn't build around Dr. Boom. We didn't build around Sylvanas. We didn't build around Ragnaros. And at least in Sylvanas and Ragnaros' cases, they were freaking Hall of Fame because they were just so ubiquitously used. Yeah. But do you have any kind of stand on there by themselves answers? I do, yeah. So obviously the meme of Hearthstone power, I think, has to go into this totally by itself category, which is Flame Wreathed Faceless, the OG 4-mana 7/7. Like by itself, when that released in, I think that was what, Whispers of the Old Gods. It was just so disgusting that the 4-mana 7/7 meme persists today. So. You know, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. So yeah, that's my just objectively strongest card. Like outside of obviously, because Boom and Sylvanas were on my list too. But 4-mana 7/7, man. And it's also it's not a build around. What are you doing? Yeah, you could get some overload value, but really, you're just playing that card. You're just playing a 7/7 for 4 mana. That's what you're doing. Yeah, that's what you're doing. But then to my answer as the backbone of archetypes, like just Windmill Slam, Grim Patron, it was responsible for one of the strongest decks we've ever seen. Ooh, Shutterwalk is being said in chat room, which is also a really, really good example of something that when especially it first came out was crazy. Launch Shutterwalk was insanity for sure.
For me, I actually went with another thing that's being said in chat room as well. My first thought was Undertaker. Like, original Undertaker in Hunter was just, I mean, talk about Grim Patron being the like patron warrior being one of the best decks we've ever seen. Undertaker Hunter was just all over the ladder. Like, it was the be all end all. It was like the first expansion Hearthstone had ever seen was Nax, and they just like, it just took over. Like, it was a high win rate, high play rate. Didn't they say it was up to like 40% of the ladder was playing Undertaker Hunter at some point? Like, yeah, Undertaker, disgusting.
Yep. And build around, because it really only worked in Hunter. And because of their, they had enough death rattles.
Yeah, exactly. And then I also put down probably one of, if not the best Hearthstone opening of all time, Tunnel Trog into Totem Golem.
Ooh. Ooh, I abused the hell out of this, and I do not apologize. Yes. Nope, not one bit.
Man, that seems like such a long time ago, but that was
because it was
for so long.
We're coming up on 400 episodes. It was a long time ago.
Wow. Oh God, that's so many.
God, yeah. So those are my answers.
Yep.
To that. Kilmernock has a completely unrelated question to Angry Chicken, Jocelyn.
Kilmernock wants to know if there's any chance of a recap episode whenever the next season of Stranger Things drops. Which, do we even know when that's going to be? And did they say, am I misremembering this, but did they say that this is going to be the last season of Stranger Things?
I don't remember that being confirmed. And I remember someone saying that to me recently, and then me trying to Google to see if that was the case and not finding anything about that being the case.
I don't know why I think that that's a thing, but I guess some random person on the internet also thinks that's a thing. So thanks, random person that asked Garrett. You make me feel not as insane.
Yeah, and in case anyone's wondering what Kilmernock's even referencing, Jocelyn and I used to do a show called Embrace the Spoilers, where we would cover different TV shows and movies. And probably the most popular one we did was either Game of Thrones or Stranger Things, were the most popular runs. And the final season of Game of Thrones was so terrible, it killed the show.
It did kill the show. It killed the show really hard.
I was just like, I don't know how to do this in case another show is as terrible as Game of Thrones ended up becoming.
Yeah, and we thought about maybe bringing it back for Westworld, but then we were like, let's watch a couple episodes first, and then we were like, nope.
I actually really liked season 3 of Westworld, but season 2 I thought was so god-awful, and it was such a slog to do season 2 for Embrace the Spoilers, that also kind of called into question my desire to want to keep doing the show, because I didn't really know how to make it fun if I legitimately hated the shows we were watching.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, season 3 of Westworld did bring it back a little.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I like that they just were like, it's a cyberpunk show now. I was like, cool. Yeah. I'm
down for this.
I'm into this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe, I don't know. I legitimately love Stranger Things, and I think even if it was kind of rough, I would still find joy in it because I just love the setting and the characters, and the way it's shot so much. And I just can't see a world where it is as unforgivably bad as Game of Thrones. But never say never. That may have come up a few times today.
Never say never.
Yeah. Rational Pie said, you guys mentioned your hobbies. Joss, what color are your nails today?
My nails are not painted right now because I'm waiting. I know I'm waiting to do my Christmas nails on the 24th because I want them like fresh and perfect and ready to go for actual Christmas Day. So yeah. So, but I can't decide between blue with like rhinestones and snowflake stamps. So like snowflake nails, or if I should do like traditional red, green, silver, silver and gold, like candy cane type nails too. Or maybe I'll do presents. Presents can be any color. I could just have rainbow Christmas nails if I just drew little presents on all my nails. I don't know. There's so many options, Garrett. And I haven't even talked about Santa hats yet. So yeah, right now they're blank, but they will be they will be extended and they will be painted. in time for Christmas.
But Pi also had a non-Hearthstone hobby question for me. He wanted to know what the latest thing I got for my car was. My car, like Jack, I guess an oil change. I haven't really been messing with my car. Katie's has gone under like complete transformation this year. It has kind of become a project car. Folks, listen, Katie and I, my wife, we're both big into cars. We like going back in the before times. We used to go and watch professional drifting anytime it was in town. We go to all the car meets and races and whatnot. I have a Ford Focus RS, which is turbocharged all-wheel drive version of a Ford Focus. And Katie has a Scion FRS. Both of us drive stick. And Jocelyn has now fallen asleep. But Josh, you're going to perk up for this one.
I'm totally still awake. I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't just a whole bunch of gibberish that I did not understand.
Yeah. And mine is like day glow blue. Katie's is day glow yellow. We have really bright cars. And if we do go out and meet each other for lunch, it literally looks like Fast and the Furious just showed up in the parking lot. It's absurd. But
I do love Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. So I did just so Katie and I just had our 5th anniversary, and I was legitimately considering getting her jewelry. You know, it'd been a while since I don't think I bought her jewelry since. No, that's not true actually. But I haven't got her noteworthy jewelry since the engagement ring. And
so you're saying it's been a while?
It's been well, actually last birthday I got her the Star Wars officially licensed Rock Love Wicket Ewok necklace because she loves Ewoks. So yeah, I'm not sponsored at all, but there you go. There's that. Rock Love, if you'd like to sponsor, hit me up. I would love to get a discount on your jewelry. That would be great. Thank you. But no, so I all year she has been saying, you know, I don't care if it's cheesy and very early 2000s. I want to put underglow lighting on my car. She's like, I just want to do it. She's talking about it. I was like, so our anniversary came around. I was sitting there going, well, I could get her jewelry, or I could get her jewelry for her car. So it hasn't been installed yet, which is why no one has seen pictures. But the last thing we bought for Katie's car is a serious underglow kit. It's all LED. I
do love LEDs.
It's like the one you got for your room, Joss. It's every color you can think. It's fully customizable. It runs on an app on your phone. And I even
That's exactly what I got for my room.
Even sprung a little extra for some of the smaller LEDs that go inside the car, so she can also get interior lighting for car shows and just like roll down the windows whenever freaking COVID is over. So we're gonna install that sometime very soon. And next, my car still will not be getting upgrades because she needs brakes, and they're not cheap. So that'll probably be the next thing we get. But yeah, lighting for cars. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? My dream is one day just to, randomly meet Vin Diesel in the wild and him to be so smitten by how ridiculous our vehicles are that we'll become friends.
You become best friends?
And he will invite me into, I don't know if he still plays D&D, but I know he used to. He'll invite me to play D&D with him sometime and drink Coronas. It'll be wonderful.
If you become best friends, then you have to invite me down to Florida when we're allowed to go to Florida again. And you need to let me just sit there and watch. I don't need to talk.
It's Florida, Jocelyn. You're allowed to come right now. If being allowed to come visit is the only thing stopping you, there's nothing stopping you.
Well, it's more so the getting back into my country afterwards.
Yeah, there's that whole
that
issue,
whole piece.
that hang up. All right. Daryl in the chat room wants to know, Joss, what your favorite lower-based Shadowlands dungeon is. Wait, lower-based? There's only one option.
Yeah, because he's trying to get me to say a thing, but what I'm going to say is the other side.
There's no dungeon called The Other Side.
Oh, there is. There is. Isn't. Just like there's a card called The Undertaker.
Yes. No, it's just Undertaker. There's no The Undertaker in Hearthstone.
No. There is a The Undertaker as well.
There isn't.
Yes. But yes, I do very much enjoy The Other Side Shadowlands dungeon. It is actually my favorite.
Your favorite dungeon is a dungeon that doesn't exist. Your life is a lie. You sit upon a throne of lies, Jocelyn.
Wow. That escalated quickly. But yeah, I do actually really, really love that dungeon because they just lore bombed the hell out of that place. And it just like, they just like didn't even care. It's just like, as you're walking around the dungeon killing trash, there's this conversation going on in the background and they're like, lore bomb, lore bomb, lore bomb, boom.
I wish I knew what dungeon you were talking about, but you're talking about a dungeon that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I guess you'll just never know, Garrett.
No one will. There's no the other side. There's
Yes, there is.
the other side. The other side.
No.
The
I
other
refuse.
side?
I
Is that what you're
refuse.
talking about? Or you were talking
refuse.
about The Undertaker.
I refuse.
Okay. I love the bit with the mana storms in Other Side,
Yes.
by the way.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. Also, everyone who gets into a dungeon with me, click on the bombs. The tank shouldn't have to click on the bombs. But I'm clicking on the bombs, Jocelyn.
I'm so sorry about your luck.
I'm clicking on the bombs every time. Every time. And you know what that tells me? It tells me I'm going to have to do a lot of explaining on that final boss fight. Clickety clack goes my keyboard. All right. That does it. We've done it. We hit all the questions, Jocelyn. We even got some from chat.
We did it. We managed to make it through.
brings
We
us-
may or may not do a show next week, guys. We don't know, but this was fun.
It was. We hope you enjoyed the Angry Chicken special Q and Holid-A.
It's so ridiculous.
Q and Holid-A. Q and
Eh?
Holid-A. Would you like to do a Q and Holid-A, eh? Please send poutine.
That's going to do it for us this week.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Thank you again, folks. If you're supporting us in any way, seriously, like any way at all, if you are listening to the show regularly, if you're telling your friends about the show, if you are subscribed on any podcast catcher out there, but especially if you're a patron, we really appreciate the support, everybody. And if you want to support the show, check out patreon.com/TAC. Come join our patron-only Discord. Everyone there is absolutely lovely. I mean it. I've run everyone out of town that I have an issue with. It's not true. I actually don't think I've ever had. No, I haven't. Everyone's cool. Everyone's really chill. In the Angry Chicken Patreon. It just got cooler. Hadija just joined. Mm-hmm. So come on in.
I am looking forward to those conversations.
Oh, yes. I've been keeping an eye on the Discord. Actually, yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, check it out. Patreon.com/TAC. Huge thanks to our producers, Declan H, Cheesy Bob, and Lord of the Cup. Thank you so much for your support, you three. If you want to become a producer, check out patreon.com/TAC. Whole back catalog of every episode we've ever done can be found at theangrychicken.com. Other than that, there's more to us than just TAC. Where can everyone find you, Joss?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm at Joce Plays. That's JOCE Plays. And just one more shout out to tell everyone to go and check out the Extra Life campaign. We've done really well this year. But if you do have a little bit extra after your holiday budget is all said and done, do go and help out the kids. Again, the link to that is bit.ly/TGI Extra Life 2020. I'm Garrett Art on Twitter, amove.tv for this podcast and every single other one that I produce. Again, go check out Let's Talk About Star Wars. We just put up our season finale episode for The Mandalorian. Check out Well Killer if you like World of Warcraft. Check out Into the Nexus if you like Heroes of the Storm. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. And until next time, job's done. Job's done.
That's a show.
Woohoo!
That was fun, chat. Thanks for hanging. Nobody puts Celestal in the corner.
I need more lip gloss.
Well, you said that. It was like you're trying to do a voice. It's like, I need more lip gloss.
I didn't mean to.
Jocelyn with her accidental gnome impression, everybody.
You're a gnome.
I'm not. Neither are you, frankly. We are both extremely tall individuals. Chicken is a production of 3D. I feel like more people comment on your height though than mine, because typically at BlizzCons and things, there's a lot of photos going around of me either next to Scott Johnson or Kyle. And they're both actual giants. Everyone's just like, oh, Garrett is exactly the height I thought he was. Cool. Well, chat, this has been lovely. Keep an eye on the Twitter. See if we're doing an episode next week. We're kind of playing it by ear. And yeah, I'm going to go get this posted. So thanks for hanging. Going to bring the stream down now.
Bye, guys.
Don't know why I said it like that. It was creepy.